For the first time in Kent State history, they've got a quarterback in the running for the Heisman Trophy. The last time out against the Jayhawks, that seemed to have gotten to his head. With his sloppiest performance, 2 interceptions and only 53% complete. And on his running plays, he fumbled on just 9 carries. When you combine that with the bye, Kelsay has dropped out of the top spot, falling to Auburn's Elijah Oakley. But there's also another surprising quarterback on this board. In Southern Mississippi's Kamario Taylor. 21 of 29 on his passing last game, 273 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. There is a lot of competition here for Kelsay. But all in all, the team still picked up the win against Kansas, and that is largely thanks to the defense, who gave up just 107 passing yards. And big props have to go to Seth Nelson. He was almost pulled out of this game before it even started, and it was arguably his best performance. 4 tackles, 3 for a loss, all 3 being sacks. We also saw transfer in Tim Snead have his best game in a Kent State uniform. 9 total tackles led the team, 2 of which were for a loss. But the big standout was the secondary. Key Crowell, Derek Jackson III, and Clinton Robinson shook things up. They started to make plays out there, breaking up passes, breaking on the ball, and we even got a couple turnovers. Credit 1 apiece to both Robinson and Key Crowell. But as we turn our attention to today's matchup, Kansas State on the road, and Kent State is coming in inside the top 10. Their opponent today in the Wildcats has a top 5 defense almost across the board defensively in all major categories. But the one thing they do lack is pass rush. So as we head to Manhattan, Kansas, set to take on the Wildcats, Mason Kelsay is going to be a focus today. Can he bounce back, climb back up to the top of those Heisman races, and can Kent State remain inside the top 10? First time in school history. And this will be the first matchup between these two teams since September of 2011, which was also here in Manhattan, as this one will be returned. Kansas State right up the middle and will be just shy of the 20-yard line, where it will be Lamar Radcliffe, the star running back, taking the field here for the Wildcats. And for Kansas State, they look to continue momentum coming off their last game, climbing above 500 as the first play is over the middle and finding space. Number 7 slicing through the defense. Wildcats with a first down, play 1. So they do go with some play action to the flat, and wide open is the tight end, who shoves off one and is back-to-back. Pretty easy work out the gate for Sheridor, quarterback here for Kansas State, rocking that number 4. And a shotgun look here, facing the blitz, picked up well initially. That ball gets popped free. Jabara cannot get off the block, and somehow the man blocking him scoops it up. Will be a sack. Loss of 9 on the play, but should have been a turnover. And speaking of shoulda, I think the mascot for Kansas State should also potentially have some sleeves. Just looks a little funny out there without them. A well-caught ball here, turning up the sideline and picks up a massive gain. But with the loss on the previous, still third down, 2 more needed here for Kansas State. Facing the blitz, big tackle comes in by Wiley. That'll be a punt. That just goes to show how important each play is. Kent State really only won 2 downs that drive. Sending out their offense, though, key matchup to keep an eye on today is the running back and the linebacker matchup here between these two teams, as Yazzie finds 8. The triple option wasn't quite opening up as the team liked last week against Kansas, or actually make that 2 weeks ago with the bye-in. The 2nd and 2, we'll see if they could get it back into fruition this time. And throwing backside, it's intercepted. Intended for Martin, it's one-on-one. I think Mason Kelsay thought that he would have been left wide open, but staying true to the play call, Maurice Balaj, cornerback, looked like man coverage for Kansas State. For Mason Kelsay, that is yet another turnover. 4 in just about 4 quarters of play. Kansas State takes over plus side about where they got stopped last time, as Kevin Hawkins injured on the handoff, tight end here for Kansas State. Hopefully he will find his way back in. Did have a nice grab on that first possession, but it goes down as a gain of 2 on first down. And trying to bail backwards here, Blackwell keeps contained. Kent State with another sack on the day. And coach has been hoping that he would finally step up a slow start to the year, but perhaps finally catching his groove here with the Golden Flashes. 3rd and 19 once again. They're trying to get themselves off the field. It's going to be a screen, weak side. Zyman slipped under, and it will be a first down conversion. Zyman started the year off so well with his tackles in open field, but now the tape's out there on the true freshman. He's not getting the secure tackles. That won't be a problem there for Bobby Ellington and company. Loss of 1 on first 10. Now it's going to be 2nd and 11. As that one is tossed up and dropped. Risky pass anyway, but I'm pretty sure the receiver heard the footsteps. A Wiley behind him. Leaves 3rd and 11. 2 spread out to the left plus the tight end. And they will go towards that back corner. Key Crowell tips it away. Out trots the field goal unit. A 40-yard attempt, right hash, and just to the left of the All-State logo. Kansas State with a field goal coming off the interception of Mason Kelsay. He's got to get his game back on track. The Golden Flash's success has largely been based off of how well he has played. As they take the field here at the 24, it's back to Mason Kelsay to that triple option. Yazzie spinning forward, and they will give him the first down with that mark. Close. We'll take it as the road team. Back to Yazzie, right down the middle. Hard run, picking up 2. If there is going to be that struggle with Mason Kelsay, you got to make sure that that run game is going to come in strong for him. Now there is motion here, 2nd and 8. Dupree into the backfield. Play action, roll, open is carrying. A little bit high, but well adjusted for the 6'6 receiver. Well, it has been something we've noticed of late with Kelsay. These last couple games, a lot more high passes. Dupree back into motion into the backfield. We'll be back to that play action. Rolling, stops, spins backside, and picks out Coates. However, Salavea injured on the play, starting left guard for Kent State. So for now, he'll make his way to the sideline. We'll look to get an update on him. But for now, Kansas State, they're playing tight to the line here, perhaps trying to take advantage of that weak in front. Or RPO will just be flipped outside here. Catula with space. Tries to cut back in. Great open field tackle. For Catula, he does continue to start to work more and more into this starting lineup here. The 1st and 10 at the 33. And that handoff is going nowhere. It's been a focus of late is to hand the ball off sometimes on these triple options down the middle, but clogged up, you lose 4. Now you got to figure out something else here on 2nd and 14. Coates gets to the outside of the 2 linebackers, converge. Ball definitely popped free there, but good news, Coates was out of bounds. Converting the first down inside the red zone. The 1st and 10 here, it's more play action. Rolling right-hand side. That's going to be Mason Kelsay. Good open field tackle. So far today, that has kept Kansas State in a good spot, not allowing a whole lot of extra yards after contact. And Gold Flash Juice snapped that ball one final time here to end the first quarter on a loss on the handoff. Kansas State standing strong right now inside the 15 as the first quarter comes to an end. They're not doing a great job rushing, but the turnover has been the big difference in this one. Kansas State on top by a field goal. As we look to get the second quarter underway, it will be Kent State with possession, 3rd and 7, and they get the hard count to draw off the defender. Akai Lee just a bit too antsy over on that left-hand side, so make that 3rd and 2 the rather. And it will be from the 11. With that triple option set, it's outside. Yazzie with the corner will have the first down. Not quite enough there from the block of Ivan Carrion to secure the edge. So 1st and 10, we will take it. Yazzie slips through the triple option with the receiver. Catula coming around the backside. This time they hand it off. And Jimmy Yazzie pulls Kent State in front here in Manhattan for their first lead of the game. It'll be up to the defense to keep that lead. Now, they've done well when it's come to the long field. A couple short drives given up by the offense have made way for the 3 points, with it just being a gain of 3. The first down run to Radcliffe. 2nd and 7 at the 22. They go back to Radcliffe. Down the middle. He finds some space with some patient running. Fortunately, though, for Kansas State comes up just mere inches short. So 3rd and inches. Heavy set and sneaking through. Good push up front. Sheridor converts. The 1st and 10, just inside the 30-yard line here. Facing the 6-man rush, and Nilsson's back for more. 4 sacks for him, and not even 2 games played. In fact, you get even less than that. Far less than 1.5 games played. About 5 quarters of play. Leaves 2nd and 18. Sheridor looking to keep this time. Sneed with the awkward contact, but it is enough to get the stop, and it forces a 3rd and 16. Another 3rd and long here for Kansas State. They converted their last one. This time they come out with a shotgun look. Options to throw, and broken up. Sneed lurking over the middle. And for the Golden Flashes, this is a golden opportunity then. Taking the ball here at the 41-yard line. A chance to go up 2 scores. And it starts with the screen. Great job, Makai Lee. He got called with the penalty on the last drive. That time snuffs the screen option. Roll to the outside here, and Kelsay looks to try to find the edge. He'll pick up the lost yardage. Nothing more, though, with a good flow coming from number 9. The corner for Kansas State. 3rd and 10 here. Got to find somewhere to go. Kelsay bails this time outside. Looks to go downfield, plucking his receiver open. Actually, no, check that. That is Lupke, the true freshman tight end. Man-on-man coverage deep downfield, and look to just get lazy on it, giving too much space. Now you got to try to convert here with a throw over the middle. That looked like a blatant DPI call, but goes uncalled. 2nd and 10. Facing the blitz here, Yazzie finds some space. Gain of 7 on the 2nd down run, and we're now back inside the red zone here. Kelsay checking the field here. Little count coming in. 3rd and 3. He snaps that ball. Kansas State sitting back in coverage. Kelsay finds some space. Spinning off the tackles and into the end zone. Every time there is a mistake this man makes, he answers with a great drive. And a lot of the time, he caps it off himself. Another rushing touchdown for the Heisman hopeful of the Golden Flashes. And with it, they take a 2-score lead with 3:37 to play here in the first half. On the road, facing the Wildcats, who go back to their senior running back, picking up a gain of 4, and he finally exits the field. We haven't seen him take much of a breather here today. Passes over the middle, but short of the first down. Pete Crowell pretty tight there in on coverage. A 3rd and 1. Last time they went with a quarterback sneak. They go back to it, and Nilsson there. The Sheridor picks up the first down nonetheless. The 30-yard line. As they do go with the draw. Stuffed this time, Bobby Ellington, the big man up front. He takes us inside the 2-minute break. The long field still in front here. RPO is to the outside. The spin and the gain to the 45-yard line. A quick step on the outside, taking advantage of the off coverage. New set of downs to work with here for Kansas State as they go over the middle. And a good route concept opens up the inside as the player went over the top. Kansas State trying to put together a good final drive here to bring this game a little bit closer before the end. Slipping by but not getting away. Walker will get credit for the stop on that one. No loss, so not going to be a sack, but a 2nd and 10 here for Kansas State. Does look to go deep downfield here. All options open. Sheridor, though, will just scramble, taking contact. But just short of the line to gain yet again is a 3rd down. They go hurry up. Facing the blitz. Walker this time. That sack will count. 5 on the day for Kent State. And we see a timeout called here from Coach Ty. We see the defense yet again making some big plays with the changes. Can the offense repay them by picking up something here before the halftime break? Well, over the middle, they go to Heisman. He's going to be short of the first down, so they will have to go hurry up here. Clock will roll. The 2nd and 2, they snap the ball, about 40 seconds to work with. Looking to get outside. That's going to be Jimmy Yazzie. First down at about the 41 and out of bounds. That leaves 35 seconds to work with here. Still 2 timeouts in the back pocket of Kent State. They go with 2 spread either side and can't complete that one. He was going for Katula, just the pass rush arrived a little bit early. Throwing this one in quick. Heisman does have the first down, so they will utilize that quick pause of the clock to get reset as quick as possible. Couple seconds coming off the clock here before they do get reset. Looking to go perhaps downfield? No. Instead, check down Katula out of bounds. Now you're about 5-ish yards away from possible field goal range. Still those 2 timeouts. You could use the outside. You could use the middle of the field. It will use the middle here. Heisman. 3rd and inches they mark as the timeout comes in. Now you got to wonder here, do you get the first down or do you go to the end zone? Well, it will be some play action. And Kelsay will look to just scramble out here, taking this one down to the 26. And to avoid anything risky there, we'll just let that clock run down to 1. They call the timeout, and it's up to Curtis here to secure these points, slipping it by the left upright. The former soccer goalie tacks on 3 here for Kent State to close out the first half of play. A 2-touchdown lead for Kent State. Meanwhile, Kansas State still dealing with negative rushing yards. That's due to sacks they have given up. Kent State already at 5. We've seen a good bounce back and forth with 3rd downs sometimes. Kent State coming out on top of those defensively. Kansas State has also answered on a couple 3rd and longs. This game, while separated by 14 points, really has been rather close. A couple key swings on some smaller plays really could change the outcome of this one. We'll see if Kansas State can find themselves on the better end of those in the second half, or if the defense can keep locking them down. But before we get there, we start the second half with Kent State on offense. Not what you want to see if you're a Wildcat fan here, as Kelsay will take this one, trying to find some space. He weaves outside, still maintaining the first down. Oh, perhaps that one a little bit closer than what you would like from Kelsay, as he does motion over Katula. Only a couple targets have gone his way today. And facing the rush, number 15, Jayshon Ross. Didn't bite 1 ounce. For the Golden Flash, they lose 11. It sets up a 2nd and 21 back at the 18. They look to go with a screen out to the open side of the field. Jimmy Yazzie now with some space. A stiff arm converts. That's just been what this team has shown they can do time after time. 2nd and 21, no problem. It's a first down. Jimmy Yazzie to follow, loses 2. Boone Morris with a stop, not biting on the RPO. And immediate pressure off the snap. Drew Moore now getting back there for Kansas State. Now they're facing a 3rd and 19. Gonna have some motion into the backfield here. Throws this one downfield, broken up to Ivan Carrion. Didn't look like he would have had the first either way. A terrific job to open up the second half from the Kansas State defense. They needed to get that stop, give their offense an opportunity to draw this game back. As they take the field, it's right to Radcliffe, and he's just carving up the defense with great blocking. That time, Kent State well pushed off the line, and there wasn't even anyone in the second level to even slow him down. Radcliffe does get the breather following that play, and it'll be a handoff back down the middle. Strong run there from Settles, but not enough to get by Sneed. Setting up 2nd and 9, just about a gain of half a yard. Facing the blitz here, it's Radcliffe into second level and stuffed by the DBs. Wildcats once again will have to get the job done on 3rd down. They need 3 more yards. Motion into the backfield. It will be a keeper here. And finding the space, Rollison was there. With a blocker also standing there. Sheridor able to pick up the first down plus a little bit extra to the 35. As they look to go right back to the run game here. Radcliffe, and I think that was Zyman who just fell over. Haven't seen the best from him in this matchup. Gain of 5 on first down is to the 30-yard line. A lot more motion into the mix here in the second half. There goes Zyman. Good open field tackle, filling the gap as well. That is what we need, and we need a little bit more of it. As Ratliff outside, but Walker, he was sent on the blitz, and Kansas State just ran right into it. So for the second time, their field goal kicker is out, and he will nail another long field goal, tacking on 3 more here for the Wildcats. While that may have not been the most optimal ending to the drive, at this point, you got to take any points you can get. It does make it 17-6. Kent State back in possession. Got stalled out last time. And no pitch coming from Mason Kelsay. Dell comes down to stuff it. Probably a good thing he didn't pitch it. There was defenders waiting on the outside. Rolling to the outside here. He will throw this. Finding Lupke, who sheds the tackler and picks up the first. It's a thin tight end room here for Kent State, but the true freshman comes through with a big play as Yazzie to follow. A shorter game, but still a solid gameplay. 1 picking up 3. They do follow it with a heavy set here. Almost a goal line look, flipping this one outside. That's to Dupree, but he can't find the edge. Leave the props to the second level, flowing to the outside there for Kansas State. They're trying to pick up a second straight stop. 3rd and 6. Kelsay rolling to the outside here, and he will just again take this one with a late slide. Very risky, not only in terms of potentially coughing up that ball, but injury as well, sliding that late. You snap the ball with limited time remaining here. Mason Kelsay slips one, but cannot keep his feet as he tried to backpedal to the outside, clogged up down the middle. Will be a sack for Kansas State to end the 3rd. Though they trail number 9 Kent State by a couple possessions as we head to the 4th quarter in Manhattan, Kansas. And this crowd is doing all they can here to try to cheer on their Wildcats to a potential upset, but they're going to need to make a lot of plays. Starting with a 2nd and 16, hard count, no one jumps off entirely. And throwing across the middle, broken up. Kelsay did take a good hit on that release. He tried to find Yazzie over the middle. 3rd and 16 here with a hard count. Not going to be a free play. They say back on side. Pressure's down the middle, no problem. Shaking the sack attempt and a pass downfield broken off. Kelsay did all he could there, but it will be back-to-back drives, ending in a punt here. This is the time for Kansas State to come through, but Walker's filling the gap. He and Snead have started to really grow as that tandem for every down here. They're 3 down backs. Now they just got to make sure they keep flowing here, and Walker's doing it. He just beat 2-3 blockers and took down the running back all on the same play, forcing the 3rd and 9 here. Sheridor will look to go back to the air. That's what he's done all day. The deep shot downfield. Double coverage, smack back, far away from any possible tip catch. And Derek Jackson continues doing a terrific job when rotating in to that safety spot. Harris taking the return. He cuts hard outside. He's by the 40, the 30. Punter, he takes him on down at the 20. A short field it will be with a terrific return there from the 4th receiver on a roster. 1st and 10 here. Kelsay rolls, throws the interception. 25 steps down and takes it away. Another pick on the day for Mason Kelsay. He tried to get his receiver involved there. He's not trying to run every single opportunity. But when you see things like that happen, that's why he scrambles. He throws it out to his receiver, but a great play made as J.J. McGregor, the Sam linebacker, steps down. His first interception of the day gives Kansas State all the hope they need. It will be up to this offense to capitalize on those. They've had a couple big opportunities, but Walker's all over them. Loss of about half a yard there. 2nd and 10 at the 29. Bunch look out to the right-hand side is thrown slightly over the middle. Deshaun Barty with another grab here today. He's had a few. 3rd and 1. Back to the sneak. And this time, Nelson is all over it. They've tried that 3 times today, and each time with less and less success. 4th and inches. Facing the blitz. Sheridor slides down with a first. They had to have that. Their game relies on a touchdown. Might be able to get away with a field goal this drive. Just under 5.5 minutes to play. Pressure Nilsson with another. The DT in his first year as a starter is racking up sack after sack. And for Coach Ty, who gambled on this man, putting him in the starting spot rather than the highly touted 4-star freshman recruit who many thought would be starting, paying off. Unfortunately, transfer in Chabera jumps offside. Well, that'll take away a good chunk of the Nelson sack. I think he owes him perhaps a bit of his steak dinner or something. 2nd and 11 instead here for Kansas State. As they go with that quick flip, they get Barty outside with the spin, the speedster, shaking everyone. Finally shoved out of bounds, down at the 33. Wildcats trying to come alive here with good pass protection, though Robinson's all over that. Tim Snead clutching at that forearm, maybe even his elbow. It is in a brace. Overall, not what you want to see. So we will see Wiley step in here. Robinson stepping down towards the line, but right down the middle attacking that weakened linebacker group. And a bad angle from the true freshman. Radcliffe gives Kansas State their first touchdown of the game at the most crucial point. And it's safe to say all momentum is in the hands of the Wildcats. Starting back at the 20, Kent State has got to put together a dominant drive here, milk some clock, come away with some points. That triple option is where they begin. Yazzie stretching the ball there. He's coughed it up a couple times, trying to do that just to gain an extra yard, maybe half a yard. Risky, but it works out this time. Right back to him. Down the middle, he rumbles. Once again, he comes up close to another first down, but 2nd and inches, they mark it. Kent State will take it as they will slow play this. Snapping that ball 1 second on the play clock, and it's Dupree for a short gain. Makai Lee banged up on the play for Kansas State. He's had a couple big plays in this one. We'll see how much of an impact that leaves here on the Kansas State front. 1st and 10 here in a 4-point ball game. And they're just going to go right back down the middle. Mason Kelsay with a timeout called here. Kansas State, they're trying to preserve as much time as possible for their offense, needing a touchdown to answer. 2nd and 7. A little RPO with a good block across the middle to the man, and man on man springs Ivan Carrion. Morris will not catch him. And a huge touchdown for Kent State, as they have not done well here in the second half offensively. They've been stopped until that play. Ivan Carrion on the RPO. He's not even the most crucial player of that play. Stray at tackle. Lets 2 Kansas State players go by, but clocks the DB trailing Ivan Carrion. And that would just set the receiver free to the outside, where he would take it the whole way. Absolute clutch work from Kent State as it leaves Kansas State. 2:48 to play here. They go back to Radcliffe. Snead back in the game, but he didn't seem to want anything to do with Radcliffe. That could very well be a problem here for Coach Ty if your starting middle linebacker doesn't want to make a tackle. Though plenty time to throw downfield. A bad angle taken there, Robinson. And Sheridor finds tight end 2 here for Kansas State. Now, we got to remember they did lose their starting tight end, I believe the 2nd drive of this game. Sheridor with time. Though Snead comes down, forces the dive. They will have to go hurry up here. They only have 2 timeouts remaining and trail by multiple possessions. The 2nd and 8, they do get back to the line here at the 35. Sheridor still checking a couple things here. They will get that ball snapped prior to the 2-minute warning. With a throw out to the flat. Couple defenders in the way, though. A bad step inside Key Crowell. We've seen a couple bad angles from these DBs. A couple times from the linebackers as well. Leaving 3rd and 3 here inside that 2-minute break. Looking to go over the middle and wide open. Barty to the 7. He's really picking up some big plays here late on for the Wildcats, but they need more. Facing the blitz, it's over the middle and caught for a short gain. Jackson staying step for step with the tight end, and a 2nd and goal. 4 spread. Nowhere to go here. Pressure does finally bear down, but coming back in is Radcliffe. You saw the DB break. Radcliffe broke sooner, and it's back-to-back touchdowns for the running back. keeping this one close, but the 2 timeouts is a problem. To help them try to overcome that problem, they're going to leave the offense on the field here. They're trying to make this a field goal game, just under 1:30 to play. Quick throw, and they find Barty. They do lose an offensive lineman in the process, but it is 24-21. But ultimately, they need this onside. Not by Jackson. He just immediately skies up and plucks that one out of the air. At the 43, that clock is running down here. A couple hard counts, and then a timeout comes in here from Coach Ty. Rather interesting. I wonder if they're just trying to catch the Wildcats perhaps a bit too eager. 1st and 10. They do go Dupree down the middle with no space. Timeout number 2 called Wildcats. Well, the loss on play 1 here. 2nd and 11 then at the 43. High formation. Play action. Rolling out to the right-hand side here. And throws just inside. I mean, you can see what they're trying to do there. You complete that, and this game is over. Instead, now you're facing a 3rd and 11. As they look to set up a screen. It's popped up, and you got back-to-back plays where you don't run clock. Absolutely mismanaged there from Coach Ty, and Kansas State has a timeout to spare here. 1:11 seconds. They need a field goal to tie this game. And a good play for the 1st down, and I think he even gets out of bounds. Never mind having to call that timeout here. They still hold on to it. Sheridor trying to lead them down the field in a surprising set of plays that honestly shouldn't even exist. Big hit to Wiley. He absolutely clocked the running back there who checked in for Radcliffe. 2 touchdowns and back-to-back drives. They might need him to make another big play here. Sheridor scrambles. Walker collapses on him. They're not going to use their timeout here, though. They're going to let that clock run. With a 3rd and 6, obviously 4-down territory, you've got to go for it. If you want to make sure you keep yourselves involved in this game, pressure builds, passes out, one-on-one, it's broken up Rollison. For Kent State, it comes down to this right here. 4th and 6, you get the stop, you win this game. Kansas State, you've got to make sure you convert or your day is done. They had Theodore Blackwell with the sack, but it's Barty to the opposite 45. He gets out of bounds, and Kansas State still has that timeout. Correction, make that 46-yard line, not 41-yard line. Throws lofted and missed. Now they are just outside of field goal range here. But a sack could do wonders for you. Force them to call that last timeout and get them outside of field goal range. They had a chance earlier. They do not have it this time. A great angle down to the 15. And right now, Kansas State brings out the field goal unit. Coach Ty's going to call a timeout here because he was not prepared for that. Looks like they're going to settle with the insurance of tying this game up rather than going for the end zone. No pressure, and the field goal is good with 17 seconds to spare. You have a timeout if you are the Golden Flashes. But you're not feeling particularly proud right now with how you played this late on 4th quarter. They snapped that ball about a second to spare, throwing it outside and too high for Katula. Now you got 9 seconds. You got to get to about the opposite 40-some-odd yard line just to have a shot at a field goal. They do, however, get a hard count in and will get free 5 yards. Now, a lot of teams would just take where they are on the field right now with the 9 seconds, send this thing to overtime, and hopefully they could come through. But Coach Ty, he's an aggressive play caller, and his team fits that mentality. They're going to look to try to get something done here as Kelsay scrambles, throws out, barely missing the defender. And that leaves you then with just 3 seconds, so you would imagine they're taking a shot to the end zone. But they do come out with the wing look here from their triple option. 3rd and 5. They will look to go downfield, chucking this as far as he can for Katula. And it came up about half a yard, maybe a yard short of walking into that end zone with a touchdown. Overtime we go, as Kent State blew the opportunity to close out this game in regulation. So we go to overtime, And at this point, anyone could win this game. Number 9, Kent State is on upset alert. Well, the good news for Coach Ty is they did win the coin toss. So the defense will head out first with a chance to really make a claim here in overtime. Ratcliffe had just destroyed this team. He hops over and gets destroyed himself going airborne. Chabera with the hit. Something you really should never do unless you know you're going to be able to come down cleanly. RPO here with a quick flow outside. That is Walker. And a 3rd and 10 here. Chance to force a field goal. They go Ratcliffe, and he has the first down. The run defense just simply has not been there in the second half. Ratcliffe with a couple huge runs. As they go with an RPO, though a flag comes down. Looks like they're going to get something here on the offensive line, whether it be holding or actually offensive pass interference. That was not on my radar. If there was offensive pass interference, you would imagine he'd be too far downfield, ineligible. They do lose 10, and there goes Sheridor outside, almost getting by the 3 players. Seth Nelson, one of those players, a bit banged up on that play, falling awkwardly. He's been a key figure for this front 4, so as he makes his way to the sideline, Burgess will come out. We've seen him a couple times. RPO, quick passes outside, breaking a couple tackles. Zyman, a clutch tackle from him that time, putting his helmet through the carrier's leg. 3rd and 4. And Sheridor under pressure meets Chabera. It's the 8th sack of the game for Kent State, and they force a field goal attempt, you would imagine, here at the 12-yard line in overtime. And as Kent State sends out the special teams, will look to be a field goal attempt made here right down the middle. Kansas State takes the lead in overtime 1 with a field goal. For Kent State, that means a touchdown walks this game off. You turn it over. This game goes to the Wildcats. And it's going to be Kelsay coughing up that ball. He's on top of it. Almost an immediate showing of the commentator's curse. Risky there for Kelsay. Luckily, his team holds on. They just lose 1. Throw is to the outside. That's Harry Heisman turning up and out at the 11. They're looking to put this game away here in Manhattan. 27-24, they need at least a field goal this drive. Throws backside, almost picked. Kelsay's playing with so much risk out there, and he does not need to. He's forcing so many things. And they go back to that triple option. Kelsay pushes forward. And right now, you're looking at a 3rd and 3 at the 4-yard line. They will have motion. Ivan Carrion into the backfield and over to the outside. Ivan Carrion alone will walk this game off in Manhattan. It's a touchdown for Kent State to win the game. But boy, oh boy, did they give Kansas State opportunity after opportunity. Hard to say right now Mason Kelsay is playing at a Heisman level. Risky. Too risky out there, but his team stays perfect and gets by the Wildcats. And we will land our first commit coming off that game, and it is the safety out of Kansas, Overland Park, and Roland Abrams. And Zayden Walker takes home his 3rd Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. He had 8 tackles in that, 4 of them assisted. 8 of them, though, were all for a loss. And a win is a win, no matter if it comes down close. And it definitely helps when you take a recruit from their state and you land a Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. Absolutely massive. So is this week here, despite the fact we are not playing a team. If we take a look at recruiting, that last game was the same week. Ezekiel Shelley had a recruiting visit with Syracuse. We are still in front. That is fantastic work. We're doing a really good job of staying on top of a lot of these guys, despite other visits being scheduled. And speaking of visits, this is a very important week, as Gideon Amodu may decide to come to Kent State. Now, West Virginia just edged us out for that top spot. They have a visit with him next week. If we do not land him this week, he very well could be going to West Virginia. So that is going to be massive, though we do have some points opening up. And I think it's time. We got guys like Stephen Boykins getting a big push here from the Bulls that we need to start trying to get perhaps a little bit more scheduled visits. Wake Forest coming in hot here for Carlos Bibbs, that gem corner. Close to potentially also getting a commit there. So there is some big things that are set to take place as we sim forward one more week. But neither make their decision. Modu and Carlos Bibbs, we are now in recruiting battles for. So as we head then to our next matchup, somehow Kent State keeps climbing up the board here. We're at 6. So just taking a look here at what transpired in between these games here. Michigan ended up taking the L to Nebraska. They dropped from 2 down to 9. And for Auburn, they lost to 8 LSU, which took them from 11 down to 20. And we're seeing quite a few more teams jumping up here. Arizona State lost to TCU. They go from 15 to 24. So a lot helping out right now, Kent State, as they are almost inside the top 5. Though arguably they've played a very rough last 2 games. Against Arizona, we are going to have to prove ourselves, especially as now other teams are coming in here for that 5-star quarterback we've been kind of sitting back on. We are very close to landing Ezekiel Shelley, though he does have a recruiting visit coming up with Boston College, so we have to get that done this next game. Perhaps might need to get a few more of these done. Stephen Jewell, very close on getting that commit. Casey a little bit further away with a visit for Mississippi State coming up rather soon. And of course, we've got between West Virginia and ourselves, Gideon Omodu. Could be a really solid piece for the future. Tennessee's now pushing on some guys. And we saw even the Bulls are coming after some of our guys. So a lot of really big competition that's going to happen next episode. Make sure you don't miss it. Hit that bear icon in the bottom right corner or scroll down by hitting that sub button. Make sure you're subscribed and that you're notified by making sure you also are selecting that bell icon. With 2 rough performances back-to-back and a couple bye weeks, we have seen Mason Kelsay fall off that Heisman list. Perhaps that is a good thing for him to get his mind right. But make sure you leave him some support by smashing up that thumbs up. Get him back motivated and playing cleanly out on that field. We will see you all next time as we are on the road taking on another Wildcats, this time out of Arizona. On paper, we are the better team, but we have played really sloppily against a couple teams that on paper we have been better against. So let's clean that up and get back on track next time. On the road, we face Arizona.